Welcome back to our fourth installment of Cooking For. We've been looking at some different options and ways that we can feel more prepared and do a good job, be more confident cooking. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your family and consumer science agent. I am so excited that you joined me for this last bit. We've talked about cooking for one or two. We've talked about cooking for large groups. We even talked last time about preparing food for the entire month or at least a couple of weeks so that we could take advantage of those busy nights to still sit down and have a nice, healthy, homemade meal with our families. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about cooking for special diets. Now, we all have those loved ones in our lives that for whatever reason are on some type of a special diet. So one of the things that I just want you to keep in mind when we talk about those special diets, whether it's because they're on a special heart-friendly diet or they are someone with diabetes that is having to figure out how to cope and eat around those things, ultimately, a healthy meal is a healthy meal. There are still some things they're going to need to avoid. But if you're preparing, particularly sometimes we're having a family gathering or we're taking things like we talked earlier to a potluck, something along those lines, we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to eat, that there's something there for them that they can enjoy. So these are some options that you can look at in just preparing things a little bit healthier. Okay, the first one is limit sodium. When we talk about heart healthy, when we talk about overall health, less sodium is always going to be better for us. And so that may mean having fruits and vegetables available with lots of different flavors and things ground in, utilizing all of your wonderful herbs and spices to get that flavor, so we don't need a whole lot of extra salt. And sometimes it's just preparing things from the scratch way instead of just buying prepared, pre-measured things. And then just leave the salt out. They can flavor it to taste if that's something they want, but we don't need to add a lot of salt during cooking, which may be a different mindset for some of us. And then of course, limit the fat. We talk a lot, there's your unsaturated fats versus your saturated fats, and we want to have more of those good fats that we're going to get from our lean meats and our fish. Avocados one we're going to use in a recipe today. So just thinking about what those things are and maybe decreasing things like butter and cream and more of those animal fats of a fatty type of meat so that we're getting less fat in whatever we're serving. Now, most people, if they're living with a special diet, they know their portion control, they figure out how and what they can have. And that's great for them. Again, this is just that thinking ahead piece to be able to offer them a little something while we're there. And so a lot of cases that means also limiting the sugars. So if you're the baker and you're the one who's making all those kind of things, sometimes we can substitute things like applesauce for having the white sugar. Now that's still a sugar, and we train when we talk about maybe cutting back on our sugars that's you're still going to have an exchange right there that you have to figure out what that's going to mean for what you're eating and how it fits into your diet. But it's going to be less sugar and a healthier option than just pure white sugar like we would normally add to things. And then having a variety of artificial sweeteners, things other than sugar that can be added to things if people need that. And then just thinking about, again, that homemade idea. So maybe if it's ketchup or barbecue sauce, instead of the things that are just bought in the jar that have lots and lots and lots of sugar, there's a lot of options out there for making your own that would include less of that. And then if it's someone with some type of a food intolerance or an allergy, ask. Most people are going to be very appreciative that you're even thinking about it, and they're going to know and have some options to say, oh, well, these are the things I really can't have, these are things I can have. And so that's always a good way to approach that, is just to say, hey, what are the things that affect you in this way? And so we hear this a lot with gluten intolerance, that some people it's way more severe than others, and they can have a little bit, some people can't have any at all. So having an awareness of those people that you're trying to be the host to and feed and help take care of is very important. So asking those questions is a key piece. So today, this is a very simple recipe. It's easy things to put together with a few tips and tricks that are going to make it just a little bit healthier. It's also one of those things we talked about feeding a crowd. We talked about feeding so you could make a smaller batch. If you're just going to feed one or two, stuff would be great to go in the freezer, pull one or two out, fix your tostada. or put out for a group, they can go through and pile on whatever they want on their tostada. So being able to have that variety and that flexibility makes this kind of a fun recipe. So a couple things to think about. We're gonna use corn tortillas to make our tostada base. Now I have crisped these in the oven as opposed to frying in oil. Just some basic cooking spray, sprayed the sheet, threw the tortillas down, sprayed the tortillas, popped them in the oven 10 to 12 minutes, flip them over halfway through, and then just give them a chance to kind of set up. So this is gonna be your tostada base, and that's what we're gonna put on the plate. Then we have some ground turkey. Now, I know we live in beef country, and I love beef, chicken, all that good stuff. This is ground turkey. It is typically a less fatty option. If you want to do this with ground beef, ground pork, any of those things, absolutely. Be sure that you're looking for the leanest fit available to do that. So this is just ground turkey. You can add whatever spices, things that you like to that. You're gonna cook it up so that it's not pink. Then you're gonna add some type of beans. I went ahead and just used pinto beans. That's what we see a lot of in our area. You can use black beans, some other type if that's what you prefer. So one of the things when we talk too about lowering sodium, you wanna be aware of that label. This is gonna have more sodium than if you plan and cook ahead to have pinto beans that you have made in your home. So then the idea is we would take this, and you can use your potato masher, you can just use a fork. You're gonna smash up your beans and kind of form a paste, or you can choose to just leave the beans whole. So once this is together, then we would take that and put it on our tostada. Now the nice thing, when you smash them up, I'm gonna leave the beans whole for today, but when you do smash them up, that's gonna make like more of a paste where you can kind of spread that on there. You can see some of mine's fallen off, but then you can spread it where it's gonna hold to it and people can pick them up and eat them, as opposed to maybe just eating them off with a fork. Okay, you can also make this into a taco filling if that's your preference. So then to get that added flavor, that added fun to it, avocado tomato salsa, very simple. So we're gonna take a couple of tomatoes, about a medium avocado. You can see I still have about half of mine left because I determined I had plenty in there. So we're gonna chop all that stuff up. I have mine chopped up pretty fine. So it's got tomato, it's got avocado. We're gonna add some whole corn. This is just, I had frozen corn that I thawed, so that's what this is. Or you can take, if you have ears of corn and you just wanna rake some of that off in there. Okay, again, it's gonna give it that little bit of sweetness, that pop of yellow color, makes it really nice. So you're gonna add that corn, some jalapeno, and then some onion. We've got red onion in here for that nice purpley color. We're gonna squeeze a little lime juice over the top to keep it from browning on us with all that good avocado in there. Give it a whirl, get it mixed up. I've added a little cilantro because that's something I like. So the beauty, again, of salsas, if you have somebody with an allergy, if you have somebody with a preference, or just, hey, I don't like that, you just leave that out, or you add in something that they really like. It's got that beautiful color, it's ready to go. We're gonna pop that right on top of our tostada. And so now, and again, because we've made this fresh, we don't have added sugars, we don't have added preservatives, so it's more along the lines of a salad type of healthy thing. We're gonna count these vegetables as part of our serving, and that's gonna be a kind of a fun thing. And like I said, people can make it however they want, to their preference, to their taste. It's a little bit healthier. We haven't used a lot of extra fats or a lot of extra oils. So it's a great option to put out there and share, particularly when we're talking about people who are facing some type of a special diet. And again, if you're cooking for one or two, you can make one or two really easy, pop the rest in the freezer. If you're cooking for a big crowd, it's easy to make a lot of it, put it out, and they can build their own however they want. So we have talked a lot over the past 4 videos about ways that you can be more prepared, be more confident in your cooking for a variety of different situations. I hope you have found something helpful. Hope you found a recipe that you enjoy. Again, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, and this has been Cooking For.